Hey everyone, this is One Man Zerg, and I'm here today to show you a tip on how to use the Mothership and its Vortex ability. Vortex is overwhelming, it can suck in entire armies, or you can use it to just suck in parts of armies. It's good versus any race out there, be it Terran, be it Zerg, or be it Protoss. And it's excellent at any level of play. All the examples today are at pro levels of play, but you can do it as a noob, you can do it as a pro player, bronze or silver, whatever. So let's get into how these tips go and enjoy the ride. The Mothership has an ability called Vortex, and it's 100 mana, so it's at best half of the mana, and at worst, most of your mana. And what it does is it sucks all units in a certain area into this vortex, and it lasts for 20 seconds. And then when the units are sucked in there, they can't do anything. So you can use it to split an army in half, like suck half the troops in and then kill the other half. Or you can use it to gain a positioning advantage. So what Axlav is going to do here in our Axlav versus Greytorp replay that we have a commentary about, he's going to suck in Greytorp's troops. So let's watch this unfold. He's gonna play it out. He's gonna bring his troops in here, and you can see he doesn't want to leave open field because these Marauders can kite with that stim. So he casts that Vortex. And so, let's see if we can rewind that just a skosh. So, we're going to play this, and then I'll pause it right before. So you can see this big herd of his troops. So, runs away after the stim, that's good. And then right here, they're really clumped. So this is when he's going to cast it to get rid of this portion of the army, and then try and do the damage he can to the others. And you're going to see Greytorp actually runs his troops inside the Vortex, which is a pretty good idea, because then you're not going to fight with just half your army. So he's going to cast this Vortex, sucks in all these troops, and then he surrounds it with his zealots. So he surrounded it with his zealots. So when the troops pop out, the Marauders and Marines are going to pop out with the zealots right around them, because that's what happens at the end of the Vortex. And that's great positioning for the Protoss player who would otherwise be trying to play catch up to the Marauders that are kiting him. And then you'll see he tries to take out these Hellions a little bit and does some damage while they're getting sucked into the Vortex. And then he gets his troops here near the end, and he brings them close to this Vortex, so they're all within firing range. See, Greytorp has to use that scan, and so it pops out, and so that's the beauty. It's popped out right now, and you can't even see all that's going on in there. But there's this many Marauders just in this tiny area, and they are fully surrounded by Zealots, with all the Stalkers within shooting range, and the Mothership just hovering above, so Greytorp has to keep using those scans. So even if Greytorp got out of this battle, he would still have lost all those scans from having to constantly try and keep up. And then that, I want you to focus on that too. These storms are dropping in here because these units are so clumped, and they're trapped in there because Axlav did such a good job of trapping them against this edge that those storms are highly effective. Other units that are great are Archons to use in this case because they do a splash damage, and also Colossus. Colossus are highly effective out of Vortex because they would just slice these troops with their lances. And so you can see Axlav, just what was a decent army battle, he is just killing Greytorp here and just not losing many units because he was able to position himself so strongly right there. And you can see that one properly placed Vortex with the troops to surround it, some area effect damage, some storms, was what really gave him the advantage, and from there he's able to push out on the rest of this game. Another example of the Protoss player using Vortex to try and match an opponent's battle. So you get some feedback in on the battle cruisers. It's a really great way to use feedback. And then he pushes in on this base, and this is a bit of an uphill battle for the Protoss player. But he sees those battle cruisers on the right, and that's something he could take out of this battle that would be really advantageous to him. So he's going to drop a Vortex, suck those battle cruisers out of battle, force the Terran player to get those Marines out of position, and then once those Marines are out of position, he has a good chance of withstanding this fight. And so the Mothership goes down. It's going to be one of the first things to go down. But you can see the Protoss player who could barely handle this army is able to handle them, whereas if the battle cruisers were in there, he wouldn't have been able to handle that. And that's a great use for using Vortex and just eliminating a portion of the opponent's army so that you can deal with it. And you can see the Protoss player is pushed back here, but with a little back and forth in games, which happens in a lot of pro games, makes them exciting, you can see he's going to be able to push back in, and that's because that Vortex eliminated those battle cruisers, allowed his army to do some heavy damage to the rest of the army that wasn't in the Vortex, and then gives him the chance to push back on the opponent once he gets some reinforcements in there. Here's another tip for the Mothership, ladies and gentlemen. One good thing to do with the Mothership's basic ultimate ability, the Vortex, is to use it to split an opponent's army, and then also you can use it to reposition your troops while the Vortex is closed. So let's look at this pre-battle. TT1 here, top Protoss player, is against Axlav here, another top Protoss player. And if you just look at these army size, TT1 has 10 Colossus to Axlav 7. He has 4 Zealots to Axlav 3. He has 10 Stalkers to Axlav 0. But Axlav has the Mothership. So we'll see what's going to happen right now. And TT1 not coming in the best formation. I'd like to see it a little more clumped or a little more unified, not so split up. But let's watch what happens. He's going to come in here right now. And then Axlav sees his units are grouped right here. He's got a lot of Stalkers there. So he casts that Vortex right there. So now if we look on the board, now it's 6 Colossus versus 7 Colossus. So he's now given himself a number advantage. And then there's only 3 Stalkers left, and I don't even couple Zealots. So the Zealot count 2 to maybe 4. So that's nothing that substantial. But you can see that now he's created an even matchup for his army, maybe even advantageous matchup, given that that TT1 can't see those Colossus right now because the observer's not in the battle. So another thing, that cloak from that Mothership coming in handy right now. So let's play it out a little more. Sucks in those troops. Now he's able to take down these Colossus much easier because he has a numbers advantage. And then these troops are stuck in this Vortex. Now let's watch what he does. The Vortex is here, so all the units are here and all his units are here. If there's an observer in there, he's going to be able to see these units. TT1 will be able to see Axlav's units, that is. So what is Axlav going to do? He's going to micro his troops. So he's going to take these Colossus and put them in a surrounding position. So let's watch what happened. Yeah, TT1 giving him props on that being pimp. He put some Colossus here, some over here, and some over here. So he's not going to get torn up from any kind of area effect damage that his opponent's units, all these units trapped here, are going to do. And these Colossus are all just going to rain down tear. Remember, Colossus, Archons, Templars with Storm are all going to be such amazing units when units are popping out of the Vortex. All those units do area effect damage, and you just put it right there when the units are coming out. And then Axlav able to do that area effect damage, take down these units, and then let's just do a little size up at the end of this battle. Still has 7 Colossus, still has a Mothership, still has 3 Zealots. He came out so far ahead that battle, it's unbelievable, and that's because he had a well-placed Vortex on half the army, took down the other half, and then microed his Colossus surrounding that Vortex and came out with a commanding victory. And that really turned the tide for him in this game. So that's a great tip for using the Mothership. In conclusion, you want to get a nice wrap on those troops after you get in that Vortex, pin them against the wall if they're ranged troops. You want to take out only a certain portion of your opponent's army with your Vortex, like in this example, taking out the battle cruisers, so you can just focus on those Marines, giving you a better chance to win the fight. And lastly, if you get that Vortex, use some area effect troops and make a nice surround around it so that when the opponent's troops pop out of that Vortex, you'll be in the best position to just take advantage of it and dominate them. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up and go to uen.com and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening.